Thank you so much for stopping by. Now, in case you were a young person aspiring to join the journalism career, you may be thinking about it, you've not fully made up your mind, or this is something that you have always wanted to do. Well, I think you should go ahead and do it and join, go to school, learn, or however the opportunities is available for you to start. I think that you should pursue it. I've been a journalist now for over 14 years, and in the 14 years I've been a journalist, I've had a chance to work for different media houses and one radio station in between all that. And I think sometimes, especially for the younger people who might have a misconception or might not fully understand why they want to join this career, you find that they often have very wrong motivations or reasons as to why they feel like journalism is something that they want to pursue as a career. And I've had a chance in my mentoring opportunities that I've had a chance to speak to young people who are attracted to this career, and you listen the things that they want to do, they're passionate and all that, but a lot of times there's a misunderstanding as to what journalism really is. I don't know if we've not done a good job in perhaps making this younger upcoming or aspiring journalists to understand what this career is all about. Perhaps the older journalists, some of us and those who've been before us, I don't know, maybe we've not done a good job, or maybe it's just a misconception. And I think with the advent of social media and everything gets very blurry, and so we don't know, it's not clear who is a journalist, we're not clear who is a citizen journalist, because the citizen journalism, and we'll learn that some other time. And we have these entertainers in our radio stations, in our television stations, who are not journalists, but they have that platform. And so it can be very confusing to somebody who wants to start or is starting in the journalism career. But for you to be a journalist, or for those who are aspiring to be journalists out there, the younger people, I'm speaking to the younger people out there, you have to understand that the very first important role for you as a journalist is to be the voice of the society. You are the society's watchdog. Your audience, that could be your viewers, your listeners, if it's radio, viewers, if it's television or social media like we're speaking right now, or print. That is your loyalty lies with the viewers, not you and your agenda. Because I think there has been some mix up somewhere. We see all these influencers out here, which influencing has become, I guess, a great career, and I think it's working very well for a lot of people. But influencing is not journalism. You can be a journalist, and maybe sometimes brands can want to work with you to promote certain things or ideas or agendas, or even just products and services, but owing to the influence that you have as a journalist. Because journalism also, we have some level of influence, but the level of influence we have is different from what these typical influencers have. The level of influence you have as a journalist is that your viewers trust that what you are reporting to them is true, is objective, and you can verify that, okay? And so they trust what you're telling them to be the truth, unless otherwise they trust that. So that is the difference. Outside of perhaps an influencer who's coming here to review a product or something that they might not even have used before, but because they're paid to say how this thing is great and whatnot and how it's going to change your life. So that is the difference. Journalism, you can't do that. You can't do that. You stick to the facts, you stick to the truth, you are objective, you report, you know the five questions that you have to answer when you're doing a story: who, what, why, how, and when. You know, that has to be captured. And so we deal with facts, we deal with the truth and all that. So that is the difference. And so we do have a greater influence, and our influence comes with some level of responsibility. So we have to be responsible for what we say and for what we disseminate to the general public. And I think for the other influencers, you know, it's different. I don't want to really draw the differences so much, but I think sometimes it's important to understand the difference. But your most important thing as a journalist is to be the voice of the society. You are the society's watchdog, and so I've already told you where your loyalty should lie. And I think another misconception about journalism, especially for these young upcoming journalists, they feel like journalism is an opportunity for them to be famous. First of all, journalism is not a popularity contest. If you're coming into journalism for you to be famous, for you to be known, for you to have a name, then you are in journalism for the wrong reasons. Journalism is a call that requires you to serve this community, the society, through dissemination of information that is impactful to their lives. Okay, so you are of service. So in the process of you being in service, you get better pay if you're working for a good media house, or you become popular because of maybe, you know, because of what you do, then good. But that should not be the reason why you want to join journalism, to be popular and to be famous and to be known. If that is what is driving you to be a journalist, then you'll find that that's why many of us, maybe after your career's ended, you've been fired, you know, you're not working anymore, or something happens and you don't have that platform anymore. A lot of people go into depression outside of losing a source of income, and now the platform that allowed you to receive all these accolades and all these claps and all that, you don't have it anymore, and so you feel like your worth and value has been affected. And I think that is another thing that we need to understand. What we do should not in any way equate to who we are as a person, or as a person. Your value is not based upon what you do. You know, you are worthy, you are valuable outside of the accolades, outside of the popularity that might come and the fame that might come with being a journalist. But that it's just like any other job. It's just like any other job, except that maybe yours, you know, you are thrust into the limelight, but that's it. Okay, but if you thrive, if you're driven by what that does to your worth as a person, and so you feel validated, then when that will not be there anymore, that's when people go into serious depression. Okay, so you should know that. So your worth should not be tied on the accolades, and that is not just in journalism. I think any other job, you're not your job, you're not your titles, and you should not base your worth or your value on what you do. If today I decided to be a stay-at-home mom, I'm still valuable. If I decided to be a vegetable vendor, or what we call here mama mboga, I'm still valuable. If I decide to become an entrepreneur and engage in any other kind of business, or just do nothing with my life, I'm still valuable, because my value is not based upon me as a journalist or you as whatever it is that you're doing. You know, that is separate and different, and so you shouldn't be fooled when you see people clapping, and when you see people recognizing you in the streets, or when you see people sending you all these DMs and all that, and you feel like, oh, now I'm very valuable, because the same people that applaud you and lift you up are the same people who can be responsible for your downfall, or are the same people who will be chastising you if things don't go very well, or laugh at you if you even lose that platform. So you can't, you know, your self-worth and your value should not be dependent on these things. So I just wanted to share that, because I think as much as the journalism career right now is suffering, especially here in Kenya, we see people being fired, and because, you know, the social media, the new media as we call it, has really brought with it a lot of challenges to the traditional media houses, and so the traditional media houses are not able to fully meet their obligations in terms of sustaining themselves with less advertising, with all that, because, you know, some brands will decide to use an influencer, the other influencers, you know, to influence a product, and, you know, traditionally that is the money that would have gone to advertisement in the traditional media houses. And so it has been challenging, but still there is hope. If this is something that you want to pursue, if this is something that you want to do, and a career that you really feel like you've been called to do, then I would encourage you to go ahead, because it is a great career. But also, I think understanding why you want to pursue journalism, that is very, very important. And you must be a person that loves information. You cannot be a journalist that information and you just run parallel. It's not possible. You can't have a lazy mind as a journalist. You must be somebody who spends time in books. And I think that for me was one of the signs that I knew journalism was something I wanted to do, because I was I was introverted growing up. And so books were my escape from as early as 8 years old. I loved reading novels. I loved just engaging in books to escape, because I was not very a social person. Okay, maybe I'm not right now, but I'm doing better in that. But, you know, as a kid, and so books became an escape for me, and I fell in love with just information. So that for me was a direction to me towards just wanting to be a journalist. And so you cannot separate yourself from information. Remember, people come there trusting that what you're telling them is true. And so people cannot be waiting at 7 o'clock or 9 o'clock or whatever time that you have an opportunity to be, when you're reporting or when you're an anchor, whatever it is that you're doing in the medium, and you don't have much to give them. I think it is a disservice. And so you and information should be like this. You cannot separate yourself from that. So I think that is one of the most important things. You must love information. You must be good in communication. But with communication skills, you can work. You can work on that as you proceed. So you should not be intimidated if you're not fluent, if you can't speak well. I think that is something that becomes better with practice as you continue. But there are other fundamentals that must really be in you, or you must acquire, or you must learn, that are important, that you will appreciate as you embark on your journalism career. So I hope that as you look forward to pursuing this, or as you are pursuing this career, you are doing it for the right reasons. Otherwise, if you're out here just wanting to be famous, just wanting to be known, just a platform for you to display your beauty, then you will be disappointed. Okay, so make sure that you are in it for the right reasons. Otherwise, journalism is a great career. So I'm glad that you chose this path.